Everyone is entitled to knowing the story of the partisans because it changes you for the better. It redesigns the way you think about the Jews during the Holocaust as victims, because that intense pain sparked in a lot of people that intense strength.
I want my students to learn about the partisans because it's a story that really gives a vivid sense of both survival and resistance.
And that when people say that Jews didn't fight back and didn't resist and that we went like sheep to the slaughter, that's not true.
This curriculum allows me to let them actually get to meet some of the people who survived this, and not just as survivors, but also as resistors.
Until I was 13, 14, I didn't know that anybody fought back. And that's not only an important part of history, but an important fact of life. I just thought that everybody suffered. Like Paul Strassman, whom I did my project on, he deserves to be not only recognized, but his story deserves to be told for what he did.
It's a huge impact for people my age to learn about other people my age and to have these great examples of like people being so like powerful just as teenagers. It's really kind of like a guide to like how powerful we could be as adults in the future.
There's more to survival than just basic needs. We have to look at all the things that make us humans, and we can't just let those things go.
Those stories are the stories that will inspire us. And these are the stories that hopefully in the younger generation will stay with us as stories of inspiration and resilience. And the Jewish Partisans Education Foundation is doing it so well.
To me, JPEF and the history that it preserves and that it helps to teach allows me to teach my students Jewish history that makes them feel good about themselves and inspires them and lets them know that one person can make a difference.
There were human beings who were able to do something so influential and so powerful. When there aren't any more partisans and survivors to tell their story, we need those testimonials to keep the story going. And I think it's so powerful to hear it from someone who lived through it.
It definitely teaches a lot about kind of the merits of taking on risk for what you believe in, and I think also ties in with the larger history of the Jewish people, and whether it's, Hanukkah or Purim or the Holocaust, it's kind of the story of pushing through and maintaining community and tradition in face of oppression and not letting that make you compromise yourself or what you believe in.
We're learning about 15-year-olds fighting back, and now I'm 17 today, and if I needed to, I could stand up for what I believed in and what was right.
So instead of, sitting back and waiting for something to happen, they made an effort to not be a bystander and be proactive and be an upstander.
Sticking through things, especially when they are hard, and not letting that make you compromise yourself or what you believe in.
I think I'm at the point where I can know that educating myself about what's going on around me is pretty much the first step to what has to be a lifetime of activism. And I kind of put myself in a different perspective, looking out and trying to perceive myself as a change maker with the same need to fight as Gertrude.
Learning more about Eda's story really reinforced a lot of the values that are important to me. Eda was very conscious of her community and what her community needed, and that's a value that I'm really going to embrace.
It made me feel like I could be a person in the world that would help other people or fight injustice rather than just another person walking in a crowd. Because these teenagers, before they became partisans, were essentially people walking in a crowd, and their situation made them had to have to adapt to be more than that.
It certainly makes me think about the Holocaust differently. My hope for the legacy and the long-term impact of partisan education is certainly just that we not only have the duty, but we also have the ability to each make a change and stand up for what's right. It is inside all of us